All right, the machine has rebooted and I have RDP'd into it and I've launched Active Directory users and computers and this is IT Sense and this is domain controllers and here it is. DC Global Catalog on-premise site, DC2 Global Catalog in Microsoft Azure site. Perfect. And if we go confirm that in Active Directory sites and services, here you go, Azure Server DC2 on-prem server DC. There we go, all set. So as usual, right now the first domain controller, first DC for Azure network is the DC of on-premise and then the DC2 itself. You may like to keep this setting for a while, and you may always, if you like, it depends. Some admin like to configure first DNS of on domain controller, the domain controller itself, and then the other domain controller. And some other school of thought is no, the first DNS has to be another domain controller and then the other one. For me, I've used both ways for ages and never had any problem with that isolation problem that used to have it at the time of Windows 2000, 2003. It was very much addressed in our later service packs of Server 2003 and 2000, Server 2008 in 2012 and 2016. Definitely have, from in my opinion, there is no problem. So you can have DC2 as a DNS, as a primary DNS for DC2 if you want to, and secondary DNS could be the DC, which is on-premise network. So it depends how you do that. Um, Replication will take effect. So congratulations, we have successfully achieved what we wanted to. We have successfully stretched our network into Microsoft Azure Cloud. We have established connectivity between on-premise network and Microsoft Azure Cloud. We have created another Active Directory site in Microsoft Azure Cloud, and we have provisioned uh, uh, a replica of our Active Directory domain controller, an AD instance of our on-premise AD in Azure Cloud. And I'm not talking, and again, we are not talking about the Active Directory, Azure Active Directory or something. Uh, why we like to have an on-premise AD replica in Azure? Many reasons. You may be replicating your file servers as well. You may be replicating some application servers or maybe provisioning some application servers that totally relies on your on-premise Active Directory. So if you are provisioning those type of servers in Azure, you need to have your Active Directory and your Active Directory. And don't forget that Microsoft Azure Active Directory is different than your on-premise Active Directory. Okay. Even if you replicate or even if you sync your Active Directory users and groups to Azure AD, it doesn't mean it's the same Active Directory instance. With you, when you have your own on-premise Active Directory in Azure, it means you have full control on that. You have your group policies with you, you have your security policies with you. So whatever VM you will provision, they will be directly under your own Active Directory, the same Active Directory that you have your on-premise, you have stretched it to Microsoft Azure and you're running another instance. So suppose if something happens to your on-premise network, your Active Directory is still safe and secure because you have another domain controller which resides in Azure AD site and which is very well protected by Microsoft. Same way you can provision other servers as well, maybe some application servers, or maybe you may like to replicate some files via DFS to some servers in Microsoft Azure or whatever functionality. Uh, Exchange, from Exchange perspective, well, you have Office 365, so either if you're using hybrid, you're good, or if you are using Office 365, you have redundancy anyway. So, bottom line, this is what our goal is is to configure Microsoft Active Directory instance, establish a connectivity between on-prem and Azure cloud via IPsec VPN, and create an Active Directory sites in Microsoft Azure network, and provision an AD additional domain controller in Azure AD site. And we have successfully done that. And once again, I would like to thank each and every one of you for your support and help. And please do subscribe to my channel. And thank you so much for watching. Stay blessed.